Hello S3. Today we're going to look at the control of water inside your body. A little starter question. What is the longest you think a human has ever held their breath underwater and survived? So you can pause the video, have we think about it. Okay, the answer to that question is 22 minutes and 22 seconds, which is an amazing length of time. After we finish this video, which I'm sure will feel like it goes on forever, have a look at how long it's lasted, and you might find that someone can hold their breath longer than that underwater. So the three things we're going to do today to make ourselves successful is to identify 3 to 4 ways that your body can gain water, another 4 ways that your body can lose water, and then we'll look at the renal artery and how your body manages its water balance internally. So regulating your water content. The main organ of water regulation is your kidneys. So all living things need water to stay alive. Our bodies take in water in a number of different ways. So you might think of some already. We can also lose water in a number of different ways in our body. To survive, we must balance the volume of water we take in and the volume of water that is excreted. So how water works. It helps to regulate our body temperature if you're getting hot in your body because you've been running lots or you may be a bit feverish. Your body can use water to cool you down. It can lubricate your joints. It reduces the burden on your kidneys and liver, and it gives your body somewhere to put all your waste products and then get rid of that waste product. It carries the nutrients around your blood, so if it wasn't for water, your blood would be a thick solid and that wouldn't travel very well. It helps to dissolve things and make them accessible, prevents you getting constipated, so it keeps your poo nice and loose, protects your body organs, and it moistens all the parts of your body. If you try, talking a lot with a very dry mouth, you'll find it's a lot more difficult. So 3 ways your body gains water. We eat, we drink, and we do chemical reactions. There's a space in your booklet for you to fill some of these things in. So eating, drinking, and chemical reactions is how we gain water. Lose a point, apparently, if you say cry. The 4 ways we lose water every day. Here's 2 of them. So sweating, we lose water through sweating. And we lose water through breathing. So every time you breathe out, if you breathe really, really close to someone else's face, they will get a wet face because you breathe out water when you breathe. Peeing, so if you're this unfortunate person with a very up-to-date Windows 95 laptop, if your dog pees on your laptop, it will get wet. So urine is a way we expel excess water. If you drink 3 litres of water, too much water can actually damage your cells and your body quite badly. So you'll find that you pee out quite dilute urine if you drink too much. And of course, pooing is a way that we get rid of water. So most water, when you eat something and when you drink things, it goes into your digestive system. This passes down your throat into your stomach. No water has been absorbed at this point. The food will then go down through the small intestine where all the good nutrients are lifted out. At this point, the poo is still fairly solid, fairly liquid even, because none of the water has really been absorbed. We then get into your large intestine. So this starts at the bottom right-hand side of your abdomen. It comes up towards the right-hand side of your rib cage, across, transverse. It goes down again on the left-hand side of your abdomen, and then it kinks to the right and goes down to the anus and rectum. So it's the large intestine, this bit that goes up, across, down, and then down again. That's where the water is absorbed. So most of the water is absorbed from your feces, and that makes it solid. If you're quite dehydrated, you'll find your body needs to take essentially all the water back out your feces, and you end up with quite solid poo that's difficult to pass. And similarly, if you drink really, really tons of water, you might find you have liquid poo. So, water loss summary. Our bodies lose water in 4 ways: sweating, breathing out, urine, and feces. Again, that's something you can put in your notes. So this is just a wee balance. So every day you take in 250 mils just from your cells. So your cells make water as part of respiration, as we know. So glucose and oxygen in aerobic respiration gives you carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So you get 250 mils a day. 750 mils from your food, and about 1.5 litres, so 1,500 mils from your drinks. You excrete about 100 mils in feces, 200 mils in sweat, 700 in just lost via your skin and your lungs, your breathing, and about the same amount you drink is about the same amount you pee. Obviously, if you eat and drink really salty stuff, your body needs to use more of the water to balance that. And if you drink lots of liquid, you might pee out more. So this is just a kind of an average balance. Here we go, the kidneys. The kidneys are the main organs for controlling how much water there is in the body. They can alter the volume of urine that goes down to your bladder. So the way this works is you have a blood supply, so your blood runs through the kidneys, and it's like running over a drain grate, basically. All the solid parts of your blood cells and things, they flow over the grate, and the liquid just drops, and it drops into the kidneys. So the renal artery is the one that feeds the kidneys. What happens is blood goes into your kidneys, and it goes down a series of long tubes. So in the long tubes in your kidneys, your body will reabsorb as much water as it wants. If you are absolutely jam-packed with water, it will just not absorb any of the water. So the blood water, the plasma will fall down into the kidneys through what's called the glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, and your body will just not bother reabsorbing any of the water. The water will then fall down what we call your ureters, and it will sit in your bladder. So if you down 5 litres of water, your blood will get really watery. The water will go into the kidneys. It'll then just go straight down the ureters, and it'll fill your bladder really, really quickly. You can then store that urine until you feel like passing it through what's called your urethra. Girls have a shorter urethra than boys. If you're really, really dehydrated, your body, the water will still drop into your kidneys, but we will then reabsorb all of it in the tubes in your kidney, and very little of it will get into the bladder. Your bladder will then be mostly full of all the stuff that your kidneys didn't absorb, like urea and salts. So you'll end up with quite a dark, greeny, yellowy, browny, if you're very dehydrated colour. So we have the kidneys, the ureter, the bladder. In males, we have the prostate, and in both males and females, we have the urethra. So here's the question. You can pause the video and look down these questions. What volume of blood goes through the kidney in a minute? How many kidneys do you need to survive? What's the normal volume of liquid taken in every day? What percentage of blood from the heart is pumped to the kidneys? And what percentage of water do you get from the food? So not all of this we've covered, so you can just have a rethink. Okay, the answers. Were you right? Yes, about 1.2 litres of blood in a minute goes to the kidneys. Only one kidney is required, really. 2.7 litres of liquid is about normal, 2.5 to 3 maybe. And 20 to 25% of the blood from the heart is pumped to the kidneys. The percentage of water you get from food is about 39%. You have a diagram that you have to fill in. Renal artery, kidneys, renal vein. So the blood that goes to your kidneys comes through the artery. The liquid drops out, and then anything left goes back into the renal vein. And also all the stuff that's reabsorbed in the kidneys can go back into the renal vein to your heart. The liquid that's kept in the kidneys goes down the ureter to the bladder, and then in females, the distance between the bladder and the outside world is the distance of the urethra, and in males it's the same. But obviously males have the penis, so it's a longer tube. This is also why males are less likely to get urinary tract infections. So blood enters the kidney through the renal artery. So renal artery in, RAIN. The kidney filters the blood and then reabsorbs anything it wants. Purified blood then leaves the kidneys via the renal vein, and everything else just goes down as urine. So in mammals, we have liquid urine. Birds, their poo is a combination of their pee and their poo, basically. So that's why if you get it on your paint on your car, it actually breaks the paint down a bit because it's quite ammonia. And then the liquid comes down and exits bladder via the urethra. So these are kidney stones. You do not want these. Both males and females can get kidney stones. They are incredibly painful. If you imagine that these are stones that if you're not drinking enough water, or even if you're just unlucky, the urea in your bladder starts to form these crystals, much like in S1, where you looked at adding something like copper sulfate and then boiling off the water, you could get these solid crystals. Very, very spiky. You don't particularly want that coming out your urethra. They can give you drugs to break them down a little bit. They can use ultrasound, or they can just give you painkillers and you can just pee them out. They're pretty big and pretty sore, and very spiky and sore. Ugh. So lots of nasty things that can come out. You can get cystine stones, you can get struvite stones, calcium stones, uric acid stones, nasty things. Spot the kidneys. Wait a minute. Trigger warning. I'm about to show you a picture of the inside of the human body. If you don't want to see this, cover your eyes until I say untrigger warning. So this is the human body. See if you can spot where the kidneys are. Okay, so we have heart, we have intestines and things. The kidneys should be here and here. Oh, clicked. Didn't mean to click on that. Okay, untrigger warning. So you can try and label A, B, C, D, and E. Pause the video. This is a slide I've showed you before. So you may be able to name it. So we have A, which is the renal. Let's see if I can do this. Renal artery. B, which is the ureter, not urethra, ureter. T-E-R. You've got C, which is the bladder. D, which is the urethra. T-H-R-A. And E, which is the renal vein. Last little bit is a hormone called antidiuretic hormone. So it's a chemical which controls the volume of urine you produce. So your brain has to be able to tell your kidneys. Your brain works out how much water is in your blood and goes, I think we'll absorb none of it, or I think we'll absorb all of that water, or I think we'll absorb this amount of the water back into the blood. And depending on how much it wants, it'll produce different amounts of antidiuretic hormone. So anti means against or to stop, diuretic is peeing, and hormone is a chemical messenger. So the more ADH your body produces that goes to your kidneys, the less you will pee. So the hypothalamus is the part of the brain that decides how much ADH to produce and then produces it. Too little water. Taken in too little water, you will be thirsty. Water content of the blood will be low. The pituitary gland will release a lot of ADH, the stop peeing hormone, and lots of water will be reabsorbed by the kidneys. It'll produce a small volume of quite concentrated urine. So if you've not got enough water in your blood, your body will try and pull back as much water in the kidneys as possible and produce lots of ADH. The other way around, if you drink too much water or alcohol affects your ADH as well. Water content is too high, pituitary releases a little bit of ADH, low volumes of water is reabsorbed by the kidneys, so you produce lots and lots of urine. Lots of ADH, not a lot of ADH. So this is the last diagram in your booklet. So this is part of what we call homeostasis. Like with temperature, when temperature goes up, your body makes you sweat. As your temperature goes back down again, we have a similar cycle for water. So when you, this is where we're going to start. The water content of the blood is too low. The brain will make lots of ADH. Lots of water will be reabsorbed by the kidney. It'll mean you're only peeing a little bit. You're keeping as much water as you can in your body. And eventually, you will end up back where you should be with a normal blood concentration. But maybe it's worked too well. Maybe you now have too much water in your body. The water content of your blood is too high. The brain, the pituitary gland, will produce less ADH. Less water will be reabsorbed, so you pee it out, so you'll end up back where you should be. So your body is constantly changing how much ADH is in your body to work out how much water you should have. When the kidneys go wrong, if both kidneys stop working because of disease or damage, then people die. This is known as total kidney failure. Death can be prevented by replacing the kidney with a transplant, or in the meantime, purifying the blood with something called a kidney dialysis machine. So the next lesson, we'll go on and look at blood sugar. Just to remind you, someone can hold their breath for more than 21 minutes. We have only managed in 14 minutes to get 2/3 of the way through that time. They can do it for another 7.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes. So that's very, very impressive. Okay, if you have any questions, please do contact me and ask. Otherwise, I will see you for blood sugar next lesson.